Hi, dondep here. I want to take a few moments to talk to you all today about the murder of our 35th president, JFK. This is the 50th anniversary of his death. Right about this time, the succeeding president, LBJ, who was complicit in his murder, was plotting with the other oil men that was a particular component of this murder. But I don't want to go over all the details of how he was killed. Most of you know, because even though they've deceived our eyes, they haven't deceived our souls. We know it. We knew it then. Most Americans, following the assassination, no matter how many copies of the Warren Commission were cited and produced and published and read, very few Americans, well, I shouldn't say very few, but I do say that the majority of Americans felt there was something wrong with it. They've known about it. We felt that in our bones all this time, and now you can hear all about it, you can read all about it, because a lot of very good researchers have put a lot of time and money into making sure that they know that we had our destiny stolen from us. That's right, we had our destiny stolen from us. And it's not good enough to me to accept these lies. Even today we hear these lies, and they're all over the mainstream media, and even much of the conspiratorial media. Just so many lies, it's just sickening. And it's not good enough to just simply talk about the fact that it was done. We need to avenge the murder, because we did have our destiny stolen on that day. After the killing of JFK, LBJ, whose mistress has come forward for some time now and admitted to what she knew about this, the fact that LBJ was part of the process. But ever since then, and LBJ took over, we saw him attempt to carry out some of the agenda that JFK wanted to carry out. Civil rights, the Great Society, although I don't think JFK was that interested so much in some of those areas, but he wanted to make sure that the American public knew what was coming. Yes, he wanted to tell the truth to the public about that. Not just the fact that he was up against the Federal Reserve. That's a controversial theory. A lot of researchers have done a lot of work on that. And I believe much of it myself, if not for the fact that there was one overarching reason for all of this. And that is the fact that the elements of the United States government, namely Majestic 12, were in contact with and had signed treaties with certain factions of aliens. And no matter how you slice and dice them, how many types of grays you want to call into question, the Majestic 12 had certain treaty arrangements with certain alien groups. Why? Because those alien groups were vying for the greater portion of the coming soul harvest. I know how that sounds to a lot of you. But that's exactly what the destiny of our human race is all about. It really is about the extension of our souls, how it carries on lifetime after lifetime, and how at the time of the great soul harvest, a great portion of those souls will want to go one way, another portion another way, and there will be many in between that haven't made their decision yet. They'll go on to another world where they're going to learn their particular spiritual lessons that they haven't learned while here on earth. But much of the details about that is beyond the purview of this little talk. What I want to talk to you about is not necessarily the fact that JFK was killed because he was going to tell the public the truth. Not just about the aliens, but about what those various alternatives were. The fact that those aliens, and some would call them angels or demons, they were here for a very specific purpose. We were listening to them for a very specific purpose. And that has everything to do with the fact that this series of cataclysmic events that is coming to Earth, what you would call the last days, was known about. JFK wanted everyone to have an equal opportunity to know about it. And allegedly, that's what our current president, Mr. Obama, is going to do. Well, it's clearly obvious that he doesn't have the chutzpah that normally would be called for, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to tell us. In that singular moment, when the public learns the truth, they'll understand why JFK was killed. And if we can get to that moment and bring the perpetrators of that murder, the theft of our destiny, on November 22nd, 1963, if we can bring them to justice, even now, even today, even if we can't do anything to them legally, it needs to be exposed. We need to have that conversation again, and not just a discussion about abstract ideas about who shot from where. That's all very important because it does prove that, in fact, there was a conspiracy. The way the body was handled, it proves there was a conspiracy. There are so many different documents that have proven there was a conspiracy, reaching to the very highest levels, not just of power, because even though LBJ and Richard Milhous Nixon went on to become president, they were not the ones who really ran things. And that's what's so hard for a lot of people to understand. The people who pull their strings are the same people that pull the media strings. And they've been the one that has been lying to you. And I would hope that everybody watching this, on this 50th anniversary of the murder of our 35th president, would take a few moments to write to their congressmen and senators, amidst all of their other passions, all of the other interests about health care, about the environment, because all of those pale in comparison to the overarching agenda, which is neither right and nor left. It's to ask them to please stop lying to us. Most of us know that they're lying. The media is lying. And many of the politicians that pretend to be enamored of our former president, what are they doing about it? What have they done about it? Something can be done. It can be done in such a way that the people who run things, who pull the puppet strings, they don't have to come forward. We can name them in absentia. But we do need to have this conversation. We do need to avenge the murder of John Fitzgerald Kennedy 50 years ago this week. Whatever you can do to help in that, please do it. Till next time, hang in there.